Getting about this, thanks again for tuning into yet another video. Just wanted to give you guys my own impressions of this recent demo event that we had here in May? Was it May? I can't remember. Last year was June. This year I believe it was May. I can't remember. Yes, the 2022, I guess 2023. They didn't bring anything new at this last demo event for Indian motorcycles. I had a blast. I was there for a lot longer than last year, but I didn't ride as many bikes. They changed the route. They had a few different ones. I'm not sure. I guess they weren't as organized as they were last year. I remember the route last year was a little bit shorter, so I think it benefits someone like me. I want to be able to get on as many bikes, but like I said, I already rode a lot of these bikes. A lot of what they had already last year, so I guess it's all right, but maybe this benefits some of the people that want to, they have a specific bike that they want to test ride. I remember a lot of people, they show up and they only test ride one or two bikes and then they're out. Like I said, me being kind of a content creator or a YouTuber or whatever, I want to be able to try out as many bikes as I can. So I think I prefer the shorter version of the test ride. So like I said, this recent one, we had test rides of about maybe 20 to 30 minutes, which is pretty good. Like I said, some people that show up, they just want to test ride one bike, and they would prefer that setup. They would prefer that, being able to test ride a bike that they really, that they're into, and being able to put on maybe 5 to 10 miles. I believe that's how many. I believe 5 miles, or I can't remember, but anyways, it was about a 20 to 30 minute test ride each bike. I got, on quite a few. I got to try out some new ones, the Scout, the Pursuit. That was one of the ones that I was surprised about. So yes, those are the new ones I got to try out. Of course, if you guys remember from the videos, the Springfield was one of those bikes that they didn't have last year, so I was looking forward to it. So this year they had a lot more bikes. Surprisingly, I don't know, it seemed like they had twice as many compared to last year, which is very good. The more the bikes, the better, because this event there was a lot more riders compared to last year. So last year, I believe there was only maybe 10 riders, give or take. Not a lot of people showed up this year. Man, there seemed to be maybe up to 30 people, maybe more than that. A lot of people from out of town. There was a few folks there they drove from Sacramento to test ride some of these bikes. So anyways, great overall event. As far as them having a waiting list, there wasn't much anything like that. It was pretty much you put your helmet on a seat, and that was pretty much your next test ride. Last year they had a list. They had a list of people that were waiting for bikes, and if you're there for someone like myself, if I've been there for 3 to 4 hours, and someone that just came in, they would have the priority. So if I had my name on a bike that I wanted to test ride, and I've been there since the morning, and someone just showed up, they haven't test ridden anything, they would have the priority, and they would actually cut in line, and I would just have to take a back seat. So this time around, like I said, pretty much first come first serve. You put your helmet on the seat, and that was it. So in case you guys are wondering how are these demo events, they're pretty much different. I think Harley's been pretty much consistent out of the last couple of years that I've been doing test rides with them. They have a list. Pretty much the last couple demo events with Harley are, you're out on your own and you get to do your own thing. So with Indian, they do these kind of a group rides. That's what it seems like. So it's hard to kind of tell you what to expect, because it seems like whoever's running the thing, they're gonna have their own method. So there was people there that were asking for the Dry Creek route, which is the one that I was used to from last year. And the two people that were there that were doing the group rides, they were just not having any of it. So anyways, guys, rambling. I had fun. I had a blast. I really enjoyed the Pursuit. As you guys can see, I have it right here on the webpage. It was one of the highlights of the day. Jumping on this thing, and then recently having that demo ride with the Limited. A lot of people don't like that video. because I complain about the weight. I complain about how slow it is. Yes, it's a comfortable bike. Not this one, of course. I'm talking about the Road Glide Limited. There's comments that people don't like what I'm saying about the bike, but you know what? This is just me. I prefer a lighter bike, more of a sporty bike. I prefer. That's why that's the reason why I went with my setup as far as my Lowrider S with the saddlebags and the fairing. So that's where my preference is. That's where I lean towards to. I want mid controls. I want some capacity, but I don't want it to be 900 pounds plus. I want it to be under 700 pounds and still have that powertrain and still have that performance of a semi-sport performance cruiser, whatever. Anyways, back on topic. The Indian Pursuit Dark Horse was one of the highlights. This is the one I test rode that day. It's this blue metallic, spirit blue metallic, kind of like a cobalt blue on the Harley-Davidson. Of course, you have the tour pack, the leg warmers, a full frame mounted fairing. Very enjoyable, very comfortable, agile. I mean, these bikes, like I said, compared when I test rode them last year, I was impressed by the center of gravity, how light they felt, even though they're full dressers, full baggers. I was impressed. This one, full LEDs all the way around. I don't believe you get that with the Road Glide Limited. I believe you get some. I think you get the headlight and the tail light LEDs, but you don't get your signal lights or anything like that. But on this one, man, you had LEDs on the signals and you have them on the tour pack, and they're super bright. So this one's also lighter and it has more performance. I'm just going to show you guys. It has over 122 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque, and that's from the factory. That is stock. This is not a stage 2. This is not a stage 3. This is the way it's shipped, which is, it's amazing. It's a great deal. It's a good-looking bike. I still prefer the Road Glide shark nose fairing. I still prefer the styling of a Harley-Davidson, of course, but man, you can't deny that this thing is amazing for what you get and for, of course, the price. $31,749. Yes, it is. It's up there in price, but so is the Road Glide Limited. And this is, of course, 40 pounds lighter. You know what? I'm not going to get into it. This isn't a comparison, but I really enjoyed this. And of course, you have the riding modes. So if you are riding 2-up, you put this thing on tour mode, and it's a lot, it's a smoother ride for you and your partner or your loved one or whatever. It's just more enjoyable. And then when you're not riding 2-up, you can put this thing in sport mode and just enjoy it, man. I really like the sport modes that Indian has to offer. So let's move on to the next one. Of course, this is not selected. I just kind of clicked on a tab. The Scout Row, another enjoyable ride. I did enjoy it. I mean, I test rode this bike last year. It's the same thing. It's the same powertrain. It's the same feel. The mini apes, the forward controls. It's all pretty much the same. It's just styling. You get that nice looking wheel. I believe it's a 19-inch wheel in the front, and you get that new quarter fairing. I don't think it looks as good as a Memphis shades, but it's nice that they provided. And I guess this is somewhat of the of them trying to capitalize on the Lowrider S market. I guess blacked out bike, nice wheels with a bikini screen fairing or whatever you want to call it, quarter fairing. It's a good looking bike. I do like it. I've been seeing a lot of these Scouts, around here in my area here in San Jose. And I really like the bike. I mean, it's a beautiful engine. Look at that. I mean, it's a gorgeous design. I do like it. You have, of course, the struts on the back, something that the Chief doesn't have. I just like it. The tank design and everything else. I'm a fan of the Scout. But yeah, I mean, it's for the price, $11,499. That's a lot cheaper than the Nightster, and you get more performance. And of course, this powertrain is proven. It's been around since 2016, I believe. That's when they first introduced the Scout. And of course, before that, you had Victory motorcycles, and I believe they used the same powertrain. So it's been around. It's proven. I'm pretty sure they fixed a lot of the issues. I remember. You know what? I'm not going to get into that. Moving on to the next one, of course, I got to test ride the Stage 2 of this monstrosity right here. The Stage 2 on this one, like I said, I thought it was a Stage 1 when I saw it, the event coordinator didn't mention anything up until the very end, when I brought up the Chief that I test rode, and then that's kind of when I found out that it was a stage 2. So, man, this thing has crazy power. The throttle extremely twitchy. Honestly, I felt like I was gonna fall off the bike maybe about 3 times. I came close to falling off the bike maybe 3 times. 2 times I caught myself. I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention. I was talking about the bike. I wasn't 100% focused on the throttle. And maybe about 2 times I caught myself, just completely crapping my pants thinking I was going to fall off this bike. But here it is, man. It's got some, like I said, it's got some nice features to it. The 116 is crazy. This is the way it's kind of shipped out. I was looking at videos last year, because I was watching, I think there was somebody was just discussing the difference between what you get with the Harley and how you could go all the way up to 131. And with the Indian, I guess you can't really do the same, because I think they offer the biggest displacement available. With the 116, there isn't a stage 3 and there isn't a stage 4. You know what, there is, but it's not the same as a Harley. Of course, you have the 114, and then from there you could go all the way up to 124, 128, 131. And I think that's what they were discussing in that video or in that article that I was reading. You're getting a lot. It's just, I think this is something that I mentioned in the Rogue Glide Limited video, where I was just saying, you know what, that 920 pound bike with the 114 is just not enough. So everything so far has been great. I'm a fan of what Indian's doing, and I'm hoping Harley would somehow, I've been saying for the last 2 years, I'm hoping Harley, they start doing some type of a riding mode, kind of like what they did with the Sportster S. I enjoyed that bike. It's nice, having that performance at a flick of a switch. Like I said in all my test ride videos with the Indian, being able to modify the tune, being able to change the performance of the bike on the go, it's just something that I really enjoyed. Like I mentioned, I have a Dyno Jet Power Vision tune on my bike, and I'm able to change the mapping. I'm able to change the way the bike feels, but I would have to shut it off, wait 10 to 15 seconds, turn it back on, and then load the next tune. On this one, you don't have to do that. You just put it on touring mode, rain mode, standard mode, or sport mode, and the bike feels completely different on all 3 modes. So with the Chief, I believe it was a Dark Horse Chief Stage 2. Man, that thing, it was already in standard mode. It was completely crazy. It was out of this world, the way, how responsive it is. Man, and the bike's light. I believe it's as light as the Street Bob, so it's lighter than the Lowrider S. We're talking about maybe a couple pounds, of course, but it's still lighter. And man, like I said, man, I was gonna fall off that bike at least 2 or 3 times. I know for a fact 2 of those times I felt like I came close falling off the bike. So yeah, overall the event was great. I don't know when they're going to announce the 2023s, but based off of the demo and based off of what they've been doing, I don't think they're going to release anything new, unless they copy, of course, the Lowrider ST, which is what people are saying. I think Laidlaw mentioned something on his Instagram. How long until Indian copies the Lowrider ST? And yeah, you guys seen the lineup? They have, this is the Heritage. This of course is the Street Bob, and this of course is the Lowrider S. So this is just what every manufacturer does. I know people are going to be talking about it. Of course, this is the Revolution Max now. This was, of course, competing against a Sportster, but this isn't really a Sportster or a comparable. This isn't comparable to a Sportster. So you have these other bikes. So this is a Road King, of course, and this is kind of like your Street Glide. I'm a fan of this bike. I really enjoyed this one. I just rode the Elite last year, and I was a huge fan. The wheel, the design, the color, the performance, the sound. Big fan of this last year. This year I think I was a big fan of the Pursuit, and I don't even like these full dressers, heavy bikes. But man, this one, I was very impressed. But anyways, where was I? Oh yes, I was talking about copying, and every manufacturer does this. I know. I think bike beards and brews. He mentioned how Indian, they just have a photocopier. He was making fun of that. I believe the guy was at the Night Story event, and he had a photocopier with him at the event. Supposedly, he was just making a skit. And I mean, every manufacturer does this. You go to your Honda dealer, you go to your Toyota dealer, they will have comparisons of the sedans. You know, if you go to a Toyota dealership, they're going to be comparing their sedans to Accords, or the mid-sided Accords sedans, sorry. And if you look at their Corollas, they're going to be comparing those to the Civics, and the Odyssey to the Sienna to the Odyssey. It's gonna be like that. So I mean, they know what's selling. They see the market. They see what Harley's selling, and that's what they're going to get into. That's what they want to cut into, and they want to cut into Harley's market. It is what it is. I would like to see them kind of do something a little bit different, kind of like what they did with the FTR. Harley doesn't have one of these. This is one of those good-looking bikes. I'm a huge fan of the way this one looks. I also got to test ride this, of course. I'm a huge fan of the overall design. This flat track racer FTR, man, it's a good looking bike, and I like that they were able to do something that Harley's not doing. Of course, there's other manufacturers that are doing this. You see that with Ducati. They have the Scramblers, and they have the Monster, and they're great selling bikes. You know, Honda, they also have the Rebel. It's a popular bike, but man, this is a good looking bike. So I would wish they would do a little bit of this, I guess. You know, try to do a little bit something more with the FTR lineup. You know, just, I guess, design something out of this. But guys, I mean, yeah, they know what's selling. They know what Harley's selling. They know where the money is. Harley sells over 100,000 bikes every year. Even last year, I believe they sold over 100,000. And yeah, we were in the middle of the of a lockdown, of a pandemic, so they still sold over 100,000. I believe Indian, they did pretty bad this last year. I believe they sold 70% less compared to last year. This is just an article that I read. Anyways, they have a competition. They know it's Harley. They're the ones that are selling cruisers. They sell cruisers, and Harley's the big fish in the pond. So they're a big target. All right, everybody's aiming for them. You have Honda. They're making cruisers. They're making baggers. They have the Goldwing. You have BMW. They just started releasing their own full dressers, baggers. Of course, it's a huge market. Harley's been dominating it. But when you have bikes like this, man, it's good competition. Harley needs to wake up, and they got to do their own thing. So one of the riders there, somebody was there. He has a limited. I remember he had a limited, and he's been having issues with it. He had a 2021, and he was there test riding bikes. So he just mentioned it to me. He was just talking to me, and he mentioned that if his limited keeps on giving him issues, I believe he mentioned he's had it at the Harley dealer maybe 2 or 3 times. And he's pretty much sick of it, and he was ready to trade in. So he was there. Test riding the baggers. He liked the Roadmaster, and I told him, dude, you got to try out the Pursuit. It's a blast to ride. And he was just mentioning that he didn't like the placement of the handlebars, but of course you could always change that. So, anyways, just rambling now. Overall, the event was great. The test rides were long. Man, you know what? I had a blast. Last year it was triple digits. This last one, because it was in May, the weather was a lot better. So it was a good. It was good times all the way around. I met a lot of people. We spoke about bikes. I was there, just explaining to some of the people there. Some of the people there, they didn't know the difference between the Chief and the Scout, and I was just kind of pointing stuff out. So, anyways, enough rambling. You guys, thanks for watching yet another video. Leave your questions down below. Let me know, if I know that they're still traveling around. Let me know if you guys got to test ride some of these bikes. If you're at the event, let me know which one was your favorite. Like I said, the big surprise this year was Pursuit. I really enjoyed it last year. I really enjoyed the Chieftain Elite. I really enjoyed the Chief, the Dark Horse, but man, that Stage 2 is no joke. So it was blast, it was fun, but it was also terrifying. So you guys stay out there, stay safe. Don't believe everything you read. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.